Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Beilein to Victory podcast. We have a lot to get into today, so we'll get right into it. We're going to talk about that embarrassing loss last night in Lincoln. We'll preview the game this weekend against Rutgers, and we're just going to go over predictions for the rest of the season, and we'll be bringing in a Michigan State fan to talk about that. The loss last night, I know Lincoln, it's not an easy place to play, but that team is not very good. It's not a tournament team. One thing really stood out is that Wagner made one field goal. That's embarrassing. I don't know how that happens. He's one of the best players in the Big Ten. They gave him 5 shots, and he makes one field goal. And that's the most glaring thing for me in that game. It's a much closer game. They might even have a chance to win if they get Wagner more shots and they need to get him more involved if they're going to be successful this year in the Big Ten. And I was really disappointed with that. And in the first half, we really didn't give ourselves a chance because I don't think we were really expecting Nebraska to come out and play. And I think part of that is on John Beilein. I think part of that's on the players. You got to be ready. The Big Ten's a tough conference. You're not going to get any easy games. So they got to move on from this one. They also didn't make shots, so they have to move on. They got to go on to Rutgers, who they play on Sunday. It is at the Chrysler Center. For me, this game, it's really a must-win for them. They can't go into Purdue losing 2 games to bad teams. So, Rutgers has given Michigan State a run for their money a couple times, but Rutgers they're really physical, and I don't think it's a good matchup for them. I think Michigan blows this team out, but who knows? Maybe it'll be close. They should have a bounce-back game, though, from what happened last night. They shot about 30% from 3, so we should see a bounce-back game, and I'm interested to see how they get Wagner more involved because last night getting him 5 shots, that just can't happen. All right, so just want to go over my prediction here before I bring in my Michigan State fan here. I expect them to go 13-5 in conference. I don't expect them to win that game at Purdue, and then they'll probably drop another one at some point, whether against Ohio State or Minnesota, whoever it is. So that would make them 24-7 overall. I think they end up being a runner-up in the Big Ten tournament. It might, because I think the seeding might help them out. Michigan State, they won today. They're not playing great. I don't know if they'll finish with a better conference record than them or not. And I expect them to be a 6th seed in the tournament. I think they'll finish in the top 25. Yeah, I think they should be. I think they should be set for a run in the tournament too. They're a sleeper team. Well, we're gonna bring in Mike now, who is a Michigan State fan. From the Competitor podcast. Mike, how are you?
I'm well.
Okay. Before we talk about your team, what were your thoughts on the way Michigan played last night in Lincoln?
Well, it's a typical Michigan performance, I guess. They only play good in big games. They suck against bad teams.
Makes well for them in the tournament.
No, because they're going to lose in the first round.
Oh, really? They're going to lose in the first round as a top 6 seed?
I think so, yeah.
Do you expect them to be a top 6 seed?
Yeah, they'll probably play Middle Tennessee and lose.
Yeah, I know you guys have experience with that.
Man, they're a tough team.
What are your thoughts on the game against Rutgers this weekend? I know you like to hype up Rutgers. Do you think Michigan should blow this team out like I do?
Is the game at home or away?
Home.
Well, you see, Rutgers, it's a very physical team, and that doesn't match up well with Michigan State. It probably matches up a little worse with Michigan, so
what?
You should win by 10, maybe.
They're not going to be able to guard us on the 3-point line.
What are you talking about? They're the best defensive team in the conference.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's get on to your team. I can't really pass over this after what happened last week in East Lansing. What was your reaction after the game last week? Michigan just took the will out of Michigan State.
Yeah, I was throwing stuff by the end of the game. I was very disappointed with Miles Bridges in the end. I was very disappointed in Cassius Winston. There needs to be
sucks.
someone with balls on this damn team, okay? There needs to be someone with balls that needs to step up like Wagner did. And it wasn't Bridges, and I'm very disappointed in him. But he did have a comeback performance against Nebraska, so
Indiana.
Whatever. Same thing.
So your argument before the game, I don't know if this has changed, was that Nick Ward was a better player than Mo Wagner. How has that changed?
You can't even compare them. They're completely different players.
Oh, I think you can compare them. I think you can compare that Nick Ward had 4 points in that big game, and Wagner shut up and had 27.
Listen, Izzo's still working with Ward. He needs to learn how to get out of the double teams because he's so good they have to double team him.
Yeah, okay.
Listen, Jaron Jackson, you can compare to Mo Wagner. You can't compare Nick Ward to Mo Wagner.
Jackson's a good player. Wagner is better than Jaron Jackson.
That's a joke, right?
He is. Look how he shows up in big games. He's a big-time player.
Jackson was the only person that did show up.
He had 19 points. I wouldn't call that 27 like Wagner had.
19 points. Oh, I'm so mad, I know.
Bridges had 19 points.
Yeah, he shot like 20% from the field.
Okay, and I know you can say what you want about Wagner. Last night he was horrible. They only got him 5 shots, but I mean, with the way he played and really dominated Nick Ward and Jaron Jackson in that game, I mean...
Jaron Jackson wasn't on him. If he was on him, he'd shut him down.
Oh, yeah, he would have shut him down. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what were your thoughts on Michigan State's performance today against Indiana?
It was needed. Izzo probably ran this kid till they puked in practice, and they came out pretty well. Indiana's depleted. They lost their best 2 players, so I don't take much with this win.
Okay. And prior to the Michigan and the Rutgers game, after you guys lost to who was it? Who am I forgetting that you lost? You lost to somebody.
Ohio State.
Ohio State. That's right. You got blown out by Ohio State. You were talking about how Izzo was going to be mad. It was going to use it as motivation, and so were the players. And then you played Rutgers, and you almost lost, and you should have lost. And then you lost to Michigan. How has your opinion changed on how Tom Izzo is handling his team as opposed to somebody just a few miles away, John Beilein, how he's handling his team?
Well, Tom Izzo, what he's doing is, the last couple of games, they got stagnant on offense. In this game against Indiana, they're running the floor better. When Nick Ward runs the floor, it just opens up the entire court.
He runs?
Doing that against Ohio State, Rutgers, and Michigan. Now he's got them doing that. Now they're going to win the whole thing, I believe.
That is an absurd statement you just made right there.
Really?
John Beilein is 8-7 versus Tom Izzo in the last 7 years, or not 7 or 8 years. He has more title appearances. He has the latest Big Ten title. He's a better coach.
No. Izzo's been to 7 Final Fours. You've been to 1.
And you get all the recruits.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Has a better recruiting class next year right now.
Next year. Yeah. Look at the past. We got what? We got Isaiah Livers, who was, 49th, and Jordan Poole, who was in the 60s.
So?
And you're getting guys like Bridges. You're getting all these guys.
Please. Oh, please. Well, Matt McQuaid, what a great player he is.
He is a good player. He shoots. He's like Duncan Robinson. He's like Duncan Robinson.
A lot better.
No, he's not. Robinson's a better shooter.
Duncan Robinson wouldn't play at all at MSU.
Oh, that's a joke. He would play just as much as McQuaid. He's better than McQuaid.
No, he's not. McQuaid's a better defender. He can spread the floor. He can drive to the basket. He plays good defense.
And Robinson's a better shooter, which is his job.
McQuaid's a knockdown shooter, too. It doesn't matter.
All right, I might have to cut you off here, but I'm going to ask this question. And we have run out of time. So, Mike, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, whatever.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and we will be back on Tuesday for another episode. Go Blue.